So, most people would say that there's no such thing as too much weed. And normally I'd agree with that, especially when smoking. I mean, you kind of hit your limit with smoking and your body just refuses to try and pick up a joint or haul on a bong. You hit that limit and you just can't anymore physically. But with edibles, that's a different story because you're taking it all at once. And all over the spectrum with edibles. All right, I've had 700 milligram ones where I needed to have a smoke afterwards because I felt nothing. I've had 20 milligram edibles that'll knock you on the ass from. I think I took it at like 9 o'clock and woke up at 12 the next day still stoned. It's a mixed bag when you get them, and you better make sure that you know what you're taking when you take it. If not, then you should abide by this general rule: take half, wait a half hour. Because usually it takes about a half hour for anything to kick in, and by then you realize, oh, okay, yeah, no, I can take more. Okay, I'm happy where I'm at. I'm glad I didn't take more. I didn't abide. I don't. I never abided by that rule up until recently because like I say, I've had 700 milligram edibles that do nothing, and I figured, you know, you can't really take too much. You take a big edible and you're just going to be wiped out on the couch, have a nap, whatever. That was up until I found on a website a little gummy. It was called the uh, heavy hitter, the 1,250 milligram heavy hitter, if I remember exactly. It was somewhere around there. It was 1,200 at least. And my dumbass thought, it's probably some shit tier weed in it. It can't be that good. So let's get it, open it up, down it in one go. Can't be that bad. This gummy, this gummy was coated in, I don't know if it was the sugar, the oil, I don't know what it was in it. Dried my mouth out horribly while trying to eat it. First off, couldn't even like open the package and get it out because it had like so sticky that it like sealed itself closed. I had to cut the package open and like try and like gnaw it off the wrapper. It was that sticky. And then just like I said, mouth so dry. All I could taste was like blood at this point. It felt like blood. So get that in me and sat there for about 15 minutes, I'd say, and it felt like I got hit right in the temple by Mike Tyson. It felt like I took a mighty right hook right to the fucking brain. Not good when you're having edibles. That's like second warning sign of eight, fourth of eight, God knows. All right. That was my body telling me, hey, maybe you shouldn't have done this. You should go like try and vomit before it's too late. So sitting there watching TV, starting to get like little waves of nausea, like right, nothing too bad, it manageable, but it's still like something's up when you're getting waves of nausea after an edible. So at this point, my mouth it just stayed dry, bloody, God knows what. It tasted like blood and pain. Filled up my water bottle, chugged it about 4 times, God knows. And one of my buddies there, he says, hey, do you want to play some games? And this was around the time Overwatch was a big game. Before Overwatch 2 came and ruined it, we were having a big phase, so we decided, let's do some Overwatch. I can rock at tank, at least if God knows what happens, I can play tank for sure. Well, God knows what happened because I got too stoned to register anything. It was like, that in one ear out the other, somebody says something to you and you just cannot remember what it was. It was like that, but for visual. God knows what I was seeing, but I was doing good, alright? Apparently, I kicked ass those games. I was tank main, like I said, sigmaing with the best, throwing rocks at Asian kids. Just slammed my mic, sorry about that. Throwing a rock. I was doing good, on a roll. But after about 3 games of not knowing what was happening, I just kind of said, look, I'm sorry, I gotta get off. I cannot play games tonight. I no clue what even happened in those past few games. So I go and I sit down, and the waves of nausea start getting worse. And I can barely focus on anything TV, phone, nothing. Alright, I just had to sit there and basically stare at my own hands, trying not to like throw up from the waves of nausea and the taste of blood in my mouth. And I'm sorry, I got no like time frame for you because I could barely register anything. I wasn't gonna understand time at this point. All I know is at a certain point, I had to get up and rush to the bathroom because my body had rejected that gummy as soon as it had fully dissolved. All right, I'm talking this was like peak, it hit 11, my body hit oh no mode. To the bathroom, shitting and vomiting my guts out for the rest of the night. God knows how long it is. I must have been on that toilet for at least 4 hours. Probably more. And while I was shitting and vomiting my guts out, didn't have my phone in there, couldn't even pay attention to it if I did, but I had entertainment in the form of vivid hallucinations. Alright? I'm talking worse than on any shroom I've had, worse than, I mean, anything in my life, really. It was bad. I was in another world. It was like I was watching TV. It was that kind of like vivid hallucination. I could barely keep my eyes open. Apparently my face went pale and my lips went blue, which I think means that you're not getting enough oxygen or some shit, so I could probably barely breathe. It was that bad, shitting and vomiting my guts out. But after about enough of that, and like I was covered in it because there was no aiming, there was no nothing. It was sit there and just let your body like expel. So after I had sobered up somewhat enough to stand up, I had to rinse off, and I just went and laid down and immediately like passed out because I remember nothing. I barely remember the next morning. It was that bad. But I do remember having to clean up the bathroom. It was a no-go zone all night. It was like just leave that alone and deal with it the next morning, which yeah, glad I only lived with one other person, but she was still very pissed at me. So, moral of the story is if you see an edible that's in a ridiculously high, I would say over 100 milligrams serving, take half and see how you feel because you never know what type of stuff is in that edible. Like I said, it was either really good weed, really, really bad weed, or laced with some other shit that I have no idea what, but if you see it, take like an eighth at a time, if that. Yeah, careful with your edibles because there's no going back after they're in. You just kind of have to buckle in for the ride, and I was not prepared for it. Anyway, that's it. See ya. Thank you so much for watching this video fully. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next one. If you like what I put out, subscribe never hurt, nor does a like, and best thing you can do right now if you want to help me grow my channel, just show a video to somebody that you think that they would get a kick out of it, alright? Best thing you can do to show your support right now, just spread my stuff around to some friends. It's a big help, helps bring in some new people, and I appreciate it a lot. Anyway, have a good one. I'll see you in the next one.